At Direct Service Garage Doors, we are your one-stop shop for all things garage door. From garage door repair and broken spring replacement to new garage doors and openers, we do it all. We're proud to be among the highest-rated local garage door companies in all of Northwest Arkansas. Our highly trained technicians are available 24 hours a day at no extra cost to you. So if you have an emergency, call us today, 479-203-5880, or visit our website at directservicenwa.com. Don't wait days. We'll fix it now.
All right, everybody, welcome to Hogville.net post-game show. We do appreciate you. We're going to get this thing started off. We're going to get it. Hang on just a second here. Get it going. There we go. All right. Arkansas drops a close game. One that I didn't care what the odds maker said. I didn't think this would be close at all. But they do. They lose 13-10. Otis, I don't know. Start us off. What'd you think?
Well, I thought Cade Fortin came in and gave him some life. I mean, the offense was not breathing until he came in. I mean, they just simply weren't moving the ball. I mean, they had hit him of 100 yards of offense in the first half. Cade Fortin came in and got the passing game going with Matt Landers and gave him a chance. I thought this, and it's probably obvious, Captain Obvious when I say this, Ty, but I thought this was by far and away the best defensive showing of the season. I mean, the defense played their rears off. We've been critical of them. Well, I have, and so it's fair. I think it's only fair to say they played their rears off today. They gave the team a chance, even till the end. The defense gave them a chance. But I thought the defense and Cade Fortin, Matt Landers, gave them a chance, and that's all you. If you'd have told me KJ wasn't going to play for sure earlier in the week, I thought, even if he played, I thought LSU. I'm with you. I thought LSU would win more than 3 points, even if KJ had played and everything else. So with no KJ and everything, I thought they played their rears off today. I didn't say that last Saturday after they lost to Liberty. No. I thought they gave a great effort today. They got beat by the number 7 team in the country, came here and beat them 13-10 when Arkansas didn't have the quarterback. They didn't have the right tackle on offense. I'm not going to be critical of them today. I mean, there was they gave it all they had, but I do think Cade Fortin, who I didn't understand him starting at Mississippi State, and I like to, if I'm questioned or critical of someone and then they do well, I like to come back and give them credit for that. It's just fair. I try to be fair. I'm not ever trying to get someone. So you and I both were pretty critical of him during fall camp. I mean, we definitely were not. I didn't see it. Yeah. I didn't see it. But today, and I'm not saying he's the second coming of Tom Brady, but I mean, he gave him a chance, man. I mean, and that's all you can ask for. I mean, they had no life on the offense with Malik in there, just absolutely no life at all. And LSU's too athletic for Malik to show his running skills against today. He just wasn't there. And, LSU's got too much speed on D for him to be a factor in the running game, and then he's not that good a passer. So, and Fortin could have had some interceptions. I mean, the ball that first catch by Landers, I don't know how that ball got. I don't know how it got to him, and I don't know how he caught it. But how he saw it. But it could have been intercepted. But the bottom line is, it wasn't intercepted. It was a good completion, and it got him started. It kind of got the jump started to him. I saw a guy jump in the car on the way down here this morning. A cold car wouldn't start. It kind of reminded me of that. I saw some jumper cables on Matt Landers. He caught that ball. He got the offense started.
Really quick, make sure you guys head on over to after all the shows are done, after we do Hogville, and of course Tuss Talk with Ty will follow this. Don't forget, that's going to be a call-in show. You guys are going to get an opportunity to call in. I've already heard from some of you. That's going to be a pretty entertaining segment. So make sure you guys again head over to Tuss Talk after this show, and then after all that's done with, go over to Hogville.net. Otis Kirk, Dudley Dawson, they've got you covered with this football. All things football and a little bit of this and that sprinkled in between, but they do great work over there. Make sure you like, share, subscribe. Please make sure you like this stream. That goes a real long ways. Shout out to our show's sponsor, Direct Service Overhead. They offer same-day services, emergency service, 24/7, 365 days a year, free estimates, quality parts, affordable outcomes, hundreds of 5-star reviews. 501-244-3667 for all your garage door needs. Again, that's direct service overhead garage door company. What I don't know. Would you I get LSU has had issues defending or blocking. That's been a problem of theirs. Arkansas ate their lunch in the backfield today. I wouldn't have guessed the kind of performance that I saw today, Otis. That was incredible.
No, I'm tell you what, like I said, we've been critical of the defense, and rightfully so. I'm not going to say I apologize for being critical of the defense that's played like Arkansas has much of the year. I'm not apologizing for it, but I'm just saying that was an outstanding performance. They pressured. Let me tell you, I know it's cold out there, but Jaden Daniels is one of the best quarterbacks in the country, not in the SEC, but not just the SEC, but the country. And for that defense to play like they played today, cold or not, I mean, they played incredible, and that's a good LSU team. And Arkansas took it to them on defense. Yeah, the defensive line and the linebackers, Paul, Drew Sanders, Bumper Pool. I mean, Arkansas's got 3 outstanding linebackers, Ty. I mean, not good, but outstanding, 3 of them.
Yeah.
And I was really impressed with how they played today, all 3 of those kids. And
who stood out to you the most on defense? I mean, because Drew Sanders ended up with the most tackles. He had a sack, and of course, the tackle for loss. Bumper ended up with 10 tackles.
I'm going to tell you somebody that really caught my eye today. Somebody really flashed. It's not somebody we mention every week. Jaden Johnson. I thought he really stood out today. I mean, not saying he was the star of the game if I was given a defensive star of the game. I'm just saying Jaden Johnson is someone that really impressed me today. He was in there making a lot of plays. I thought he played well. I thought Pooh, I mean, to me, Chris Paul, whatever, he always plays well. But so does Drew and Bumper. I mean, that's what I'm saying. They've got 3 outstanding. But I thought the secondary, Brenny stepped up and gave him some momentum early, Ty. I thought Latavius Brenny gave him momentum early. I like McAdoo and McLaughlin at the corners. Nudie and McAdoo give him a chance at corner. Now, they're not just getting killed at cornerback like they were earlier in the season.
Yeah. Brenny, who had that interception, but I don't know who that was lined up offsides. Was it Zach Williams?
Somebody was, but it was obvious. It was clear offsides, and they didn't call it. It was clear offsides, and they didn't call it out. There,
everyone in the media booth was like, man, he's like a yard into LSU's line of scrimmage, behind their line of scrimmage.
I didn't think that last play was a fumble that they called on Thornton was a fumble. I honestly thought his arm was going forward. I see why they called it, but I don't know, man. I guess I'm not referee material. I don't think it would have made any difference. I mean, it would have been 4th down, I guess, but I'm just saying that, anyway, he was offside. But Brenny he threw the ball right to Brenny. Who did you think stood out on D? You asked me, I mean.
I think you kind of already hinted on it a little bit, but Christopher Paul is just incredible.
He is every week. That's a kid that doesn't start. He comes in, he plays. And I asked Bumper, it was Drew that I asked the other day. It was Drew Sanders. I asked him, I said, Drew, what is it like for you? Because you and Bumper are 2 of the best linebackers in the SEC, which equates to 2 of the best in the country. And I said, what is it like to have a kid that comes in? There's no drop off when you got 2 linebackers caliber them. And he's got right here on the screen. We can't capitalize on turnovers, save our life. Well, when they got the ball at the 10-yard line, then AJ Green gives them 7 on 1st down, and they've got 2nd go at 3, and they get no points out of that. Ty, that was incredible. I mean, honestly, it could have been the difference in the game.
Yeah. Yeah, it could have been.
You get the ball at the opponent's 10-yard line, you get 7 yards on 1st down. You've got 3 cracks to make 3 yards, and you can't do it, and you get no points. And I'm not going to sit here and question Sam for not kicking a field goal there. I'm just saying that you've got to get points there. And honestly, when you get 7 on 1st down, it should have been 7 points, not 3.
I agree.
That to me is probably the series of we have play of the game. We talk about player of the game. The series of the game was when Arkansas got the ball at the LSU 10 and then didn't score. I thought that was the series of SERIES of the game. I don't know how clear I'm talking, but the series of the game. I thought that was it.
Well, on that scoring drive, Cade Fortin, I think he ended up going, what was it, 5 of 6 on that drive?
Yeah. Wasn't that like 94-yard drive too?
Was it? I think
it was.
It was. Let's see.
It was 10 plays, 94 yards, Ty. 29 seconds off the drive.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, there it is. Yeah,
10
fourth quarter, 10 plays,
94 yards. Yeah.
Golly.
That's a good drive. I mean, for the third string quarterback, let's don't call him the backup. He was third string. He came in and took him on a 10-play, 94-yard drive. That's just incredible, And like I said, man, when you get the ball at the LSU 10 and you don't score, especially after AJ gets you 7 on first down, doesn't matter if it's AJ Rocket or Rashad, whoever it is, but it was AJ that got them 7, and then they don't score. That just, to me, it'll haunt them. That series will haunt them forever. I mean, do you think maybe and if you take a field goal there, it's 13-13, but I'm not questioning Sam's decision to not kick a field goal. Right. I'm questioning Arkansas not being able to capitalize on getting the ball at the 10-yard line and then getting 7 on first down.
Yeah.
I mean, I understand why he didn't go for the field goal there. I completely get that.
Right. I kind of thought the play of the game was that the conversion that they gave LSU at the end of the game. It looked to me like he was short, and they gave him the conversion. They gave LSU the.
Oh, they did. He was about a half yard short. Ty, he was. I hate to sit on here every week and get on here and cry about the officiating. I'm not crying. I mean, he was short of that. He was short.
He was short. Yeah, and they gave it to him, and I thought that was huge. That ended up. I mean, that was big.
I thought that call, and then the one with Fortin's arm, they called that a fumble at the end. Fortunately, they ruled the first one right. I honestly thought his arm was forward. It was not as obvious as the first one. The first one was clearly not a fumble. The second one, but yeah, there was 2 critical calls there, and both of them went against Arkansas. A surprise there.
Yeah,
I'm being sarcastic.
I know we're gonna get a lot of the staff messed it up again at quarterback. Cade Fortin should have been the guy all along. Blah 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 blah. I know that's going to happen.
I've seen nothing make me think that he should have been in there ahead of Malik. I've seen nothing at practice. I've seen nothing in the scrimmages back in the spring. I've seen nothing to make me. And I said this when Malik came in at Mississippi State and took Cade's place. I said I never understood why Cade was ahead of him. So I'm not going to sit here now and say why was Cade not ahead of Malik. I've never seen anything in practice or scrimmages or what little time we get to make me think that Cade should have been ahead of Malik. But he had a better day today, especially against LSU speed. That they really nullify what Malik gives you a chance to do well. LSU's defensive speed takes a lot of that away, Ty. Yeah. They really do.
Again, make sure you guys go to hogville.net. Otis Kirk, Dudley, they've got you covered. Alabama Ole Miss is set to kick off here. Illinois looks like they lose their game, or they're losing. Illinois 7-2, number 21 team in the country, losing to Purdue right now, 28-21. Tennessee 59, Mizzou 24. Tennessee with 59 on Mizzou, and all we've heard about the last several weeks is how great Mizzou's defense is. And here's Tennessee with 59 points.
I'm going to tell you, those teams is up there. If Georgia's probably going to beat LSU in this SEC championship game. Georgia's going to go to the playoffs. Don't be surprised if 11-1 Tennessee team gets in the playoffs too. Now, somebody, either Michigan or somebody's going to have to drop out for that to happen. But I'm just telling you, I think Tennessee's got a great chance to go in, because I don't think, because they beat LSU pretty easily as well earlier this season. Their only loss is at Georgia, and I'm going to tell you, there's not a team in the country that's ranked or in that group that wouldn't have lost at Georgia. Ohio State, Michigan, all of them would have lost at Georgia, in my opinion. But TCU is probably going to end up getting bumped out eventually.
Liberty today, they lost to UConn on the road, 36-33.
That was a bad loss last week. Look, man, Arkansas Arkansas should have been 7-2 going into this game, Ty. You and I talked about this in the press box earlier. Arkansas should have been 7-2 going into this game. Look, if you were 7-2 going into this game and you saw a 13-10 loss without your quarterback, be 7-3, you'd be feeling good about yourself. Whereas now you're 5-5. So I mean, the A&M and the Liberty losses were bad, and I'm not even sure Liberty was a worse loss than A&M. Maybe I guess it was, but because it was at home and you're losing non-conference. But that A&M game should have never been. They got out 14-0. They should have drilled the Aggies down there in that Arlington.
I agree. Yeah, I mean they had a good lead until the Superman stretch.
They just didn't show up against Liberty. But I mean, both of them are bad losses. Don't get me wrong.
They are. Yeah, it's hard. It's always hard to compare apples and oranges. But at this point, the body of work. It just screams at you that this team has vastly underperformed.
You're 5-5 instead of 7-3, Ty. You're 5-5 instead of 7 because they'd lost today. They'd be 7-3. But like I said, if you were 7-3 and played at LSU, number 7 team in the country, without your quarterback, you're arguably probably your best player. Certainly on offense, he's your best player. KJ is. I've never understood these people that thought somebody else on the team was better quarterback than KJ. That's just nonsense.
Well,
I mean, it's not even close, Ty. It's not close.
I saw people say that, well, Malik's just got better. I'm not trying to pick on people that I know, but some people that I know and honestly do have typically have good quarterback takes or football takes say that, well, Malik Hornsby has better field vision than KJ. And I'm like, what are you watching that's telling you that? Like, I thought the Mississippi State game he had moments, and I do think he should have been the guy from the start. You and I talked about that.
Yeah.
But that's just more of a testament to where Cade Fortin was at.
Even at Mississippi State, if KJ had played after looking at what Malik did to him, no telling what KJ would. Look, people, it's not close. There's not a quarterback controversy. I get tired of hearing that. I have people email me, text me, Malik this, Malik that. Look, it's not close. It's not even remotely close. And and so that's not, please don't message me with that, people, because I mean, I'm sorry. I can't. It's just not close. And I try to be, I try not to act like I know it all, which I'm not, and don't try to be or not pretend to be, but something like that, it's Captain Obvious. I mean, KJ's the best quarterback on this team.
What'd you think of Quincy McAdoo today? Or what'd you think of the corners? I mean, we're sitting here talking about how great the pass rush was, but
that's what I said earlier. I thought Nudie and Quincy at cornerback, Ty, I think they've solidified that. It's a different that's one reason the defense is better, because you've got those two corners are covering up people. No, McAdoo, look, man, if I'm Quincy, and I'm not Quincy, but if I was, I'd never go back to receiver. I mean, I'm telling you, man, a cover corner like him in the NFL can make big time. He can own Clarendon if he stays at quarterback and as good as I think he can buy Clarendon and own the town, man. I mean, this kid is good, and he is very good. And look, he's a great receiver. I saw him in high school, and I said then I thought Quincy was as good as any receiver in the state, including Isaiah. But I said I also think he's just as good a defensive back as he is receiver. He's just an athlete. I mean, Quincy can do at receiver what he's doing at corner. But if I'm that good at corner as a true freshman, when I only practiced there not even half the season, give me maybe the bowl practices, if they get to one, give me the bowl practices, give me the spring practices, give me the summer off season, and then in the preseason next year, and give him that at cornerback and watch that kid play. I'm telling you, I would not go back to receiver. I'm just telling you, I mean, I'm talking NFL future. He and Nudie, him and Dwight McLaughlin at cornerback, I'm telling you, man, they solidify. That's a big difference from what they had to start the season.
Part of the reason, and I get that they were kind of bailed out a little bit because of how great the pass rush was today, but I saw them playing up a little bit closer to the line of scrimmage, and Otis, they were actually effective in man coverage when they did it.
Yeah, no, I mean, those two can do that. Malik, if he had, and I love Malik Chavis. I love the kid. And he's got the speed to do that. But Malik doesn't have ball skills when the ball's in the air, like the A&M touchdown. If he'd have looked back, he had an interception. That's what he is missing. And I'm not saying he can't develop that, but Malik doesn't have that, whereas Dwight and McAdoo do. Now Malik's a very good third cornerback. Don't get me wrong, but that's what's holding Malik back. I'm sorry, I went blank on. That's what's holding Malik back. It's just his his ability to play the ball in the air. Whereas McAdoo and McLaughlin can do that really well, and all three of them have very good speed. And they didn't have that at the first season at cornerback. Yeah. They were playing guys that were slow, and you just can't do that. I mean, not at corner, you can't.
Here's a really good. This is an interesting take right here. Hog Dog says, proud of our defense, but maybe. Offense would have been better if KJ sat out against Liberty and he had played against LSU.
You never know, possibly. I mean, I don't know how bad the clavicle is. It may be a deal where you set out this week and then he gets hit against Ole Miss and it's right back just as bad as it was. Ty, I don't know how bad it is, that shoulder. I know the shoulder is a lot like the back, and I've had shoulder surgery when I played softball. I had a torn rotator cuff but I don't know how bad his injury is. It could be, and that's a legitimate point by Hog Dog. I mean, that's legitimate. We don't know, but it'll be interesting to see next week how well this 1 week or 2 weeks of rest, counting this week and next week, served him, because I don't know how bad the shoulder is. And sometimes you can rest it and you think it's well, and you go out there and the first time it gets hit, it's just like the back. It's right back like it was. So I don't know that, Ty, but and I've dealt with those injuries, and I've lived and breathed those injuries. So I know sometimes you think rest is the best cure for it. It really is. But sometimes when you go back out there and you get hit again in the wrong spot, or same spot, whatever you want to call it, it just right back like it was.
I love this one right here. This season has increased my Maker's Mark budget.
Guys come up with great takes on here. I've noticed that. That's one thing I've noticed doing this show with you. People have great takes. I can't think of those like they do. I can't think of them like they do.
Some of these takes are just great, man. Bloodline. He delivers. He comes.
Just not all of them are.
Yeah, not all of them are. Some of them are, maybe you should back away from the keyboard, some of you, but not some bad takes here. Quality depth matters. That's a saying that I've had on my show for years. Quality depth does matter, and it was a breath of fresh air to see the defense play the way they did, but offensively, I don't know, Otis. I feel like the outcome would be different had KJ played, and I know we've kind of gone over that a little bit, but.
Well, KJ always makes a difference. He's the one quarterback. He's the one offensive player on this team that you can ill afford to lose. Look, I've been saying and writing for weeks, ever since they lost to Mississippi State. I guess, it was the Mississippi State game they lost. After that, I said, going forward, Arkansas's biggest key is going to be KJ playing great. He did it against BYU. They got an easy win. He did it against Auburn. They got an easy win. Then he was banged up, and they didn't get one against Liberty. But I'm telling you, when KJ healthy or KJ playing great gives Arkansas its best chance of winning game. Now, with that said, if the defense can continue to improve, and you and I talked Thursday on the pregame about there's been improvement in this defense, Ty, even before today. I've seen some improvement. I've seen improvement in this defense, but if they can improve and keep improving, and especially come out and play well next week against a very good offensive team in Ole Miss, and KJ can play, he may not have to carry the load. I mean, he can have a good game and they can win if the defense can continue to improve. I mean, I thought it's going to take a superstar effort from KJ to have a chance to win as bad as the defense was, but I believe I've seen enough improvement from the defense. Maybe that's not the case. Got a night game next week here. It's going to be an interesting week and an interesting game next Saturday, because I'm telling you, if you go to Missouri 6-5 instead of 5-6, and you want to beat Missouri, don't get me wrong, but you don't want to depend on that to be your bowl eligible. If you're 6-5 going to Missouri, you've got your bowl in the bag. Then you can go up there and possibly beat Missouri, go 7-5, and have you a 2-game winning streak going into the bowl. Then you win your bowl. You got a 3-game winning streak going into the offseason and recruiting. That's all huge, Ty. It's not.
Yeah.
I know people will say, "Well, it's a wasted cause. That's a lost cause." No, it's not. I mean, if you can't just wipe it out and say, "I'm finished." If you're not going to do that, if you're going to do that, then it's gone. But if you're looking at this thing like we have to from the media, being objective, you beat Ole Miss, you beat Missouri, then you go to the bowl game, you get those extra practices. Guys like Quincy McAdoo, Chris Paul, Pooh Paul knows will only benefit by those extra practices. You get those, and then you win your bowl game, and you enter the offseason with 3-game winning streak. You got recruiting, you've got the offseason, you've got some positives, Ty. And that's important for the future of the program. I'm not talking about this, 8-5 or 7-6, whatever. It's not going to make that much difference from the national. It's not going to make any difference from a national standpoint. But the future of the program and the positives for the program, it does make a difference. It makes a big difference.
Yeah. What did you make going back to this game really fast? Perkins.
He was a stud, man.
He was a stud. But this is 2 weeks in a row where the offensive line really struggled. I know Dalton Wagner didn't play. We had Tykees Crawford.
Yeah. I thought he held himself pretty well out there. I don't think Tykees is a drop-off. I really don't. I just think that the offensive line is just – they've had some issues. I mean, they didn't play well at all last week, and people can blame it on whatever they want to blame it on. I mean, and by the way, they weren't the lone finger to point at last week. Nobody played well. But I'm just saying that the offensive line is – they've struggled some, and of course they play. This is LSU's a good team. Liberty should never. Liberty and A&M shouldn't have been on the field with Arkansas, but LSU's a very good football team. They've got a lot of speed.
Do you feel like they pick it up? Do you feel like the offensive line maybe they're going to, I don't know, learn from these last 2 weeks, get a little bit healthier? And by the way, do we know what the hell's going on with? Sorry, that's for Tuss Talk. That's language for Tuss Talk. Do we know what's going on with Dalton Wagner? What his issue was at right tackle?
Yeah, there was. Sam talked about it. I wrote, me or Dudley wrote about it during the week. I think I did. He mentioned that he was questionable for the game, and there was some. We asked him about. I didn't, but the reporters in the room someone asked him about Tykees taking his place. So there was a legit belief that, I guess belief is the word I'm looking for, that Dalton wouldn't play this week, Ty. That wasn't a surprise. I can't remember what it was. I don't remember if it was a back. I know he's had back issues in the past. I can't remember. Honestly, I don't remember the injury, but it wasn't a surprise. And, it wasn't a surprise.
Yeah. Well, I wasn't surprised he didn't play. I didn't know if
I think it's a back, but I don't remember. If it's not, maybe it's a knee. It was an ankle. It was something. I think it's a back, but I could be wrong on that.
All right. Well, I mean, I think he's done pretty well all year, but I don't know, man. The last 2 weeks, just trending in a bad direction there. We have someone complaining about the. Sean Sanders says, "Just look at the comments. Ty is showing. Something but damn, all sunshine and roses. Attaboys." I guess Sean just wants me to post nothing but like negative stuff. I'm sorry, Sean. I'm sorry I'm letting you down, sir.
Well, I mean, it's just like people bitching about the media never ask tough questions like what's wrong with the program. Look, people, you can ask any question. You get on here and raise your tail. You can throw your hands up and jump up and down and gripe. But that's what I say. I think it is back. But it's a game. It's a game. At the end of the day, it's a game. And I've covered Razorbacks for years. I've seen them win. I've seen them lose. And I'll be damned if I'm going to get on here and just jump up and down and raise hell because they lose a game. I'm going to sit here and tell you what I saw. If it's good, it's good. If it's bad, it's bad. But as far as just getting on here, it's not sunshine. I'm telling you what I saw out there. And I mean, they played the number 7 team. And I mean, we were pretty critical of them last week. I'm not going to be that critical because they lost to the number 7 team without their quarterback. So I cannot be that critical. I mean, if they'd have given this effort last week, they would have already been bowl eligible.
Yeah, no, I agree 110%. And with a healthy KJ, with 100% healthy KJ, I think the roles are reversed today. And I don't say that often, but I do think that today was a case of not having him out there. Malik Hornsby he just looked so lost, Otis.
Well,
I mean,
I agree with you and whoever said that earlier about, I don't remember the person that put the message. If they'd have set, they probably should have set KJ last week and then played him this week. Whoever said that is probably right. It's hindsight, but and I know it is. But I mean, you would rather have KJ against an SEC opponent. But I mean, hey, you make that call. You're the head coach. You make that call at the time. And if KJ says, I'm able to go, coach, you've got to go with him, man. And that's what KJ – listen, I watched him throw one pass in the warm-ups. I think I'm the only one up in the press box. So he went out there and Stromberg. He threw a pass, and then he just walks over and tells Malik to go get behind Stromberg, and that was it for KJ. He took a couple of stops, but he didn't throw the ball. He took one pass, and then he walks over and tells him, wasn't a coach, it was KJ, walked over to Malik, tells him go get behind Stromberg in the warm-ups, and that's what happened. And so, I knew then he wasn't going to play. So, I mean, that's part of it,
Yeah, someone said in chat, and I thought it was a good comment. I can't find it now, but man, where'd it go? Basically saying that this might have been kind of an audition for Malik Hornsby. I maybe this is the question. Did Hornsby lose the backup job today moving forward? Do you think Fortin may have just taken it back? Because for a while he was the backup going into the Mississippi State game.
Yeah. Well, at least if he is the backup now, Fortin, I can more understand it, Ty, than I could before. Because when they announced that at Mississippi State, I didn't understand it. And this is, I think I said this earlier, but if I didn't, I'll say it now. This was the first time I've seen Fortin play in Malik that I thought Fortin was better.
Fortin was better, yeah.
I've seen him in practice. I saw him in the scrimmage this spring. I've seen it from the spring forward and in the preseason. And this is the first time, I can honestly tell you, this is the first time I've ever left the game thinking Fortin is better than Malik.
Yeah.
I never thought that till today. So I don't know, Ty. I mean, we'll see how it works out. Hopefully that's not a factor. Hopefully KJ's back next week and plays these last 2 games. I was going to say 3, but we're down to 2 games. That doesn't even seem possible, man.
I know it. You and I were talking about that up in the booth about
it's
already the end of the year.
It seemed like the other day I was getting out of the hospital and then covered South Carolina game from the house. And then coming over here, the first game was Missouri State that I came to. It just seemed like the other day. And now we're talking about the last home game next Saturday. It just doesn't. Yeah. In some ways, it's been a fast season.
Yeah, it really has.
A lot of ways.
CFB with Ash says Hornsby is in year 3, by the way. And I don't know what happened today. Well,
his passing is limited, Ty. And then when you play in a defense as fast as LSU's, you're not going to be able to run and use your speed. And that's his strength. Let's be honest. His strength is not his arm. His strength is running. And LSU has so much speed on defense, he couldn't do that. He missed a wide open Trey Knox there in the first half on a pass, a rollout. I mean, overthrew. Trey Knox was wide open. It wouldn't have been a touchdown, but it would have been a first down and kept the game moving. It just, look, man, they really struggle when KJ's not in there. Regardless who's in there, they struggle.
And when he's not healthy, I mean, this offense relies so heavily on KJ.
It does. That's the key right there, Ty. It's just whether that's good, bad, or indifferent. KJ is the key to this offense, and people have argued with me all year about that somehow, thinking he's, they're over, he's not that, he's not what you think he is. KJ is by far and away the best offensive player on this team and gives them the best chance to win. And when he's not in there, it really doesn't matter if it's Fortin or Hornsby. They don't have as good near the chance they do otherwise. They really almost have to play perfect when somebody, either Malik or Kate, either one, they almost have to play perfect till you get in the end zone. And they were very fortunate on the drive they scored. That was a nice drive.
Mm-hmm.
But he threw a pass or 2 on that drive that could have been intercepted.
We have a score update. How about this? Kentucky, who I've been calling one of the most overrated teams in the SEC all year, just lost to Vanderbilt 24-21 at home. I've been saying it. I know they're banged up. I know they got injuries, but
everybody's got injuries. I thought Kentucky and A&M going into the season, I guess, were two of the most overrated teams in the country. They had them way up. They had A&M number 6. I'm telling you, A&M was never the number 6 team in the country. Never, ever were they number 6. Never.
I felt like I was being hard on them when I said, yeah, okay, so they should be ranked, but maybe like somewhere in the back end of the 20s. I mean, they're so bad. They're so bad. And it's just salt on the wound for Arkansas because, again, like you said earlier, that's a game they had no business losing. Even though Arkansas is kind of maybe they've shown their true colors for what they really are as a program this year, still I thought Arkansas should have won that.
They should have beaten A&M. They should have beaten Liberty. They should have been 7-2 entering today's game. They'd be 7-3 right now. And as I said, we'd be feeling complete. Everybody would be feeling different about the season if they were 7-3 right now.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. But yeah, wouldn't have, but would have a few more things to be positive about. But yeah, looking around here next week, and I know we're going to break that down. Actually, I think it's Dudley's turn next week.
He'll be there Thursday for the pregame. Yeah, Dudley will be.
But Arkansas is going to play either at 6 or 6:30 against Ole Miss, and that. Like these final 2 games, if you lose this one, then Mizzou's your biggest game of the year. But Ole Miss right now is your biggest game of the year if you want to make a bowl game.
9-game at Fayetteville, you need to win that game. You've got to find a way to win it. And who knows, maybe those extra 7 hours will help KJ be more ready to play. Instead of 11, you go to 6 or 6:30. That's 7.5 hour difference. Maybe who knows? I mean, and I'm halfway joking about that, but I mean, with a shoulder, you just never know. I mean, like I said, I don't know how bad. I know it's obviously bad or he would play, but I just know that sometimes that thing can be a lot better, and then you get hit one time, get hit just the right way, and it's right back like it was. So we'll see, man. But rest will help it. I mean, that's probably the biggest help. I'm not a doctor, but rest is usually the best cure for a lot of things like that. It's by far away the best cure for, not cure, but best Band-Aid, I guess is a better word, best Band-Aid for something like that.
Yeah.
Because everything you're doing right now in the season is a Band-Aid because everybody's got injuries. Everybody's beat up. Nobody's 100%.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, nobody. Proper Pool's been beat up all season. KJ, I mean, all of them are. There's a difference between now and when the season kicked off. It's just, I don't care if you're 18 or 22 or if you're 100 years old. It takes its toll after a while, man.
Yeah, it really does. And I know fans, this is a tough one. This is a tough year. Didn't expect Arkansas to go backwards. Otis, I do appreciate you taking some time out of your afternoon to be here. I will talk to you later.
Yeah.
And have a good one.
Thanks for everything, Ty. See you later, man.
All righty. Okay. We're waiting on Dudley. Dudley might be just a little bit behind. We'll give him some time here. If you guys listen, you could, Sean, you could complain about what I put up on the screen, but man, I think there is some positivity from this game. If you don't think that the defense deserves a little bit of praise, I don't know what to tell you. Like, what have you watched this year, right? What have you watched? The defense has been atrocious. They've been bad all year long. You can complain about what I put up on the screen. I really don't care. Number one. Number two, I think there's definitely some things to be skeptical of and to be critical of. Otis and I and Dudley as well. We've all been very critical and skeptical of Arkansas. Sometimes it's not the best idea to compound it with comments and us on top of that, right? Sometimes you need to balance it out a little bit. See, if we go too negative, then someone's going to complain about the negativity. If you go too positive, you're either a sunshine pumper or you're negative all the time. I really don't care. I'm here to do a job, and I'm doing just that, sir. They battle for the boot. The battle for the boot used to matter. Well, I mean, that's sometimes. It's not like that was an annual. It's not like that game was always a big game, right? For Arkansas fans, it is. Sure, winning the boot is a big deal. I think it's a bigger deal to Hog fans than it is LSU fans. Not that they're gonna celebrate it. LSU's gonna celebrate it. They got the boot back. I do think, and I stand by what I said earlier, I think if KJ were healthy and good to go, Arkansas wins today. The defense was absolutely spectacular. I did not see that performance. Look, I sat here and told you guys all week their offensive line struggled. They gave up 6 tackles for loss per game. They gave up 11 sacks in 3 weeks. We sat here and talked about that on Tuss Talk with Ty, and I'm sure I mentioned it here on Hogville Net YouTube. But I did not see them having this kind of performance. 7 sacks. I think they ended up with 9 TFLs. That's incredible. You know, if this team showed up, yeah, you're definitely a 2-loss. You're only a 2-loss program right now. If the defense showed up like they did today, that is a really good quarterback and a damn fine offense that Arkansas just completely shut down. Now, yeah, you can go back to that 3rd and 18 in the first half where LSU just runs it up the gut and picks up the first down. That's that bend don't break that we've seen time and time again. But they only I think that happened once, and they got a couple of other 3rd and short conversions. They were 2 for their first 8 on 3rd down conversions. Incredible. The sacks, the TFLs, the takeaways. Everything you needed from your defense all year long happened today. Unfortunately, KJ wasn't healthy. And the offense just Malik Hornsby. People are talking about Malik Hornsby, going back into the portal today, and if not saying that's what happened, but fans assuming that after today he's going to go back into the portal. He could. He is in year 3. I'm not seeing the kind of progression I would like to see out of Malik Hornsby. I'm just not seeing it. They've got some questions in the offseason about what's going on at QB2. I feel pretty confident in saying that I think KJ, I'm leaning very strongly that he comes back. And I think a lot of you would agree with that also. Let's see. Those sacks were awesome. Yes, they were. Oh, sorry. A little bit more positivity. I'm sorry. That might trigger some of you, but Mike is on Dixon Street. What's going on, man? I hope you can make the Tuss Talk with Ty call-in show. That's going to be fire. I hope one way or another, even if we don't get a single call-in, I'm a little bit more reserved on this show. A little bit more reserved. There's certain things I can and can't say, right? Tuss Talk with Time and open up the can a little bit. I'm going to let you guys call in one way or another. I don't care if one person or nobody calls in, but that will be up next as soon as we get Dudley on here. I didn't mean to keep Otis that long, but time got away from me. Haters need to chill out. Listen, listen, you can be skeptical of what you saw. No, I disagree with that. You can be skeptical. Absolutely. There's what excuses do you have for Malik Hornsby? We're not talking about a freshman. We're not talking about a redshirt freshman. I mean, this dude looked like a deer in headlights in front of 70,000+ of his own kind in the stands. His own kind, the Razorbacks, in front of his own home field fans, and the guy looked like a deer in headlights. I don't know what to call that. It was not good. Not good performance by him. This was whoever said that in the comments section. I think you were right. This was an audition for QB2. That's what this was. And he failed miserably. Cade Fortin should absolutely be QB2 moving forward. Or at the very least, there should be a battle for the position. Because let's not forget, Hornsby did come in against Mississippi State when Cade Fortin struggled, and he looked pretty good. But boy, today he just didn't look the part. I think McAdoo in coverage allows us to be a bit more creative with blitz packages. Yeah, something I was alluding to earlier, they were playing a little bit more man defense, a little bit more man coverage, tighter coverage. McAdoo just, I don't know what else to call it. The guy played great. I thought he looked great. I don't know, being at the game, the one thing the camera doesn't show you when you watch the game at home, they're always focused on the play, right? They don't look at what's going on in the rest of the secondary. That's where being in the media box or being in the stands, that's where you have an advantage. You can kind of watch the back end of the secondary. And that going back to Cincinnati, going back to South Carolina, Missouri State, you could just see guys on the back end of the secondary getting beat, getting absolutely burned. I didn't see that as much today. I don't know that I saw that at all. Here we go. Dudley Dawson, sir. How are you? Look at you looking fly.
Hey, I try. Work with what I got. So.
All right. Well, just let's wrap this thing up. What were kind of your takeaways from this game?
Well, I think this is one game this year that you certainly cannot blame on the defense. I went to to the opposing press conference, and Brian Kelly was very impressed with what Barry Odom did today. He used a lot of multiple fronts. He brought more pressure than usual, did a lot of things that confused quarterback Jaden Daniels, talked to him for a little bit. They were happy, very happy to get out of here with the win. They knew that coming off their big win over Alabama and Arkansas being embarrassed last week, that they would probably get Arkansas's best shot. Defensively, that's certainly what happened. Now, obviously, they knew that KJ Jefferson wasn't going to play from Thursday on, apparently, or at least that's what Pittman said. LSU didn't know that. They kept, preparing for the different things that obviously KJ does and Malik does. He was very impressed. Kelly was very impressed with Cade Fortin, who came into the ballgame obviously late with 6 of his first 7, did some really good things down the stretch. You could tell from the post-game press conference that Coach Kelly was probably excited that they didn't switch to Fortin a little bit earlier, because obviously they made over half their yards after Fortin got into the ball game. It was just a struggle all day again for the offensive line, a struggle for Malik, who has all the talent in the world, but it's a matter of experience, a matter of rushing and making decisions. And it's, as I was saying, Coach Kelly was just happy to get out of here with the win, because especially what they did early on in basically handing Arkansas, or trying to hand them, situations that they could get points. It just, Arkansas just couldn't take advantage of it.
Yeah. Yeah, Malik, going back to your point, Malik looked lost. He looked absolutely lost, especially in the first half. And there were opportunities there where you thought, well, he's going to break loose and make a play. Instead, he goes backwards and takes a sack or fumbles the football. Otis kind of hinted to that as well, talking about how, well, going back to fall camp, I mean, nobody would have thought that Fortin was going to ever be the guy. And yet here we are. Fortin came in and he kind of saved the day for the most part, until obviously Arkansas loses the game. But from an offensive perspective, and probably in the back of Kendall Briles' mind coming out of this, I mean, it's easy to be Captain Hindsight. We can all be Captain Hindsight. But, yeah, you feel like had Fortin come in a little bit sooner, who knows what the outcome is. Dudley, I mean,
of course,
that's part of –
this is Cade Fortin that after his Mississippi State appearance, nobody wanted to get on the field ever again. And now he came in and people were claiming, why didn't he come in earlier? It shows you how fortunes can change really quickly. Yeah. Got to hope that KJ will be in position to play next week. He usually plays pretty well in his career against Ole Miss and Mississippi State, so I know that'll be important to him. Night game, we'll see how many fans continue to come. I was pretty impressed today.
I was too.
The crowd at 73,000. Excuse me, I would say, probably somewhere in the 65 to 70,000 range, was probably a better estimate of what was here. But great job by the fans for showing up at a cold game, a game where your team was coming off a loss to Liberty. I know that LSU brings the gets people excited because of the rivalry that Arkansas has had with them over the year. I did think it was funny. I was down at the end of the ball game. You always go down to get ready for the opposing team's press conference. There were some LSU players carrying it off the field. And one of them said, why didn't we win last year? Because we wouldn't have to carry this thing off the field, back and forth. So, nice size, nice heavy thing that linemen, they should be carrying it. They don't get those wide receivers and quarterbacks in there carrying it.
No, of course not. No, it's got to be the big guys doing all the work. So what I asked Otis this earlier. This is 2 weeks in a row now, Dudley. Offensive line, they're trending in a bad direction right now. When you go back just 2 weeks ago, they're rated the number 1 offensive line by PFF, by Pro Football Focus. Now 2 weeks straight, they're trending in a bad direction. I mean, the pass blocking was not good. Lanes weren't as wide open for the running backs to run through. Was that just more about what Liberty and LSU were doing? Or is there something we're not seeing along the line of scrimmage for Arkansas?
Well, I think that's 2 games in a row that they have that offensive line has underperformed, and I've been one of their big fans over the years because they've done a lot of great stuff while they were here, cumulative together. But
Yeah.
right now they're not clicking for whatever reason. They are, being out physical at the line of attack, and also they don't seem to be as cohesive as they were earlier in the year, and that's a big thing with offensive lines. So it's going to be interesting as we go into next year. There are a lot of good young offensive linemen here that don't have a lot of experience. You have to give credit to these kids that have been here for so long, but you're kind of wondering, will the new guys next year, even as they try to get experience and learn playing in a D1 level, if they aren't more physically gifted and maybe able to help out in a variety of different ways, whether it be run blocking, pass blocking, again, they won't have that experience. But I'm anxious to see that next year because you got Andrew Shipley and Marion Harris, Jalen St. John. I could go on and on and on. They've got the young man from Memphis that I think is going to be a good young offensive lineman down the line. The season is not over with yet. I know that some people are probably throwing it away. Be interested to see what goes on with Ole Miss and Alabama this afternoon. You get Ole Miss here next week. You're still sitting around here and can get a win in one of these last 2 games to go to a bowl. And everybody may be sitting there saying, well, going to a bowl wasn't the go to start the year. That couldn't, shouldn't have been your go. What the deal is, though, it's not necessarily making the trip to wherever you're going. It's not necessarily playing the game, but you get the opportunity to have 15 more practices. And those practices are not geared toward the current year's team. They're geared toward the next year's team. Yep. And that, can be a big thing for Arkansas. For Arkansas fans, I hope they get to see some more success, down the end of the year here. But it is a football team that has had a weird, is all I'm going to be able to preface it by, a weird last couple of weeks. And it's a weird season. At one point they were 3-0.
Yeah.
And now here they sit 5-5. A lot of things have gone wrong. I do not think that, we've been banging the injury drum, all year. And I do think that was a factor early on, but that was a secondary that still didn't have everybody today. But they came out and played really well, I thought. And of course the pressure that Arkansas brought, whether it be Drew Sanders, bumper pull, Chris Paul just keeps making plays. He's coming.
Yes.
And different guys across the defensive line that maybe we hadn't seen here lately, or at least had their names, pop up there. Cam Ball had a really good ball game.
He did. Yeah.
Was putting some pressure on there. Terry Hampton was in there. Eric Gregory, we saw, different guys that did different things. So I'm not going to sit here and tell fans that they should be excited about the past 2 weeks and how things are going, but I can find some positives if you look hard enough.
Well, you got to be careful because I've gotten in trouble for that already in this stream by someone in our chat that I'm posting the positive stuff on the screen there.
Well,
so
you may I don't really care who likes me or not. So other than my wife,
I get a kick out of it. I do. I get a kick out of it. You can't please everybody, but when they do pop off, I love going back at them though. It's a lot of fun. But most of the comments have been good. There've been some great points in chat. There've been some really good stuff from folks in the chat. Some really good stuff.
There are a lot of reasons to be frustrated. I get it. When you start out 3-0, and then it's not going to help the fans any that the Liberty goes and loses to UConn today.
We talked about that right before you got on. Actually, right before you hopped into the studio there, Liberty. Otis and I were talking about that. Liberty lost today, and I thought they would win out. Yeah, I didn't think they were great. I'm not sitting here. I don't think I ever said Liberty's a great football team. They should be in the college football playoffs with a single loss. Those words never left my mouth. But pretty good football team, sure. But they're going to be lucky to finish 10-2.
We didn't play as well today for Liberty as he did last week.
Say that again. Now you cut out a little bit.
But clearly the Emu did not play as well for Liberty this week as he did last week. So
yeah. Oh man, that is like my we talk about that a lot in our Discord. That's my favorite. That is my favorite ad. The Liberty Bibberty. I love that. It's classic. It's good. But unfortunately it's left a sour taste in the mouths of Hog fans. So now we can't do the GIF anymore in Discord. Travis Adair says Deke Adams was a huge get for Arkansas. I have to agree with that. I think, especially when you look at the 4-star they just picked up on the defensive line, that's not something common for Arkansas on the defensive side of the ball, especially on the D-line, to go out and grab some 4-star high school kids. And, they went and did that. And then the performance this year has been really good. Oh, did we lose Dudley?
There are some guys that have been here for 5 years now that have had 4 defensive line coaches.
Yeah.
And, you want to have some cohesiveness and all that, but I do think that, all the chatter about who should be fired, who should take the blame for all this, Sam over the past 2 years has not had any problems in letting people go. It's either 5 or 6 coaches that's been let go. He'll assess it at the end of the year, and he may be, what's labeled as a good old boy, but he'll do what he needs to do, or do what he thinks he needs to do, at least, in trying to continue to help out the program. And this recruiting class, which was, in the top 10 at one time, is going to finish probably in the top 20 to top 25.
Yeah.
It is loaded up trying to get a lot of defensive linemen. And so I think that's an area, obviously, even though I think they had a good game today, that has continued to be built up.
Yeah. Yeah, the defensive line has been an area. It's not easy, especially interior defensive linemen. Going out and grabbing a 4-star, it's hard to do. Or even not even just a 4-star, just a player that's highly regarded. It's hard to do at a lot of schools, and that you sometimes wonder the separation between the Georgias, Ohio States, and Alabamas. It's because they go out and they get those positions that are in such high demand, and they do it at a really high level. In the past, it's always been linebacker, but you feel like Arkansas has kind of closed that gap a little bit. Linebacker play has been superb these 3 years, and that is a testament to Barry Odom.
You just got to go get you a Micah Parsons or Harold Perkins, who had 4 sacks today and just was.
Golly. What a good grief. Monstrous performance by him. Got to give them credit. Tip of the cap. They just played great. A lot of athletes in that LSU defense. All right, Dudley, appreciate you for coming on and closing us out, sir.
You bet. I'm always here for you. I'll be your closer.
You're coming out of the bullpen. You're my closer. I'm going to need you to open for me on Thursday, though.
I can do it. That's 5 days rest. That should be good.
All right, perfect. I'll talk to you then, Dudley. Take it easy.
Later.
All right, we will continue this over on Tuss Talk with Ty. The call-in show is up next. Again, hop over to Tuss Talk with Ty, and I'll see you there. Make sure on your way out of here, and make sure you like this stream. Make sure you like, subscribe if you're new here, and as always, share the content. I'll see you guys over on Tuss Talk with Ty YouTube. Call-in show. Link will be provided in our Discord and maybe on the socials. I don't know yet. One way or another. We're going live on Tuss Talk next. See you over there.